So here we go, our first real Pinkie episode of the season, and one that could fix her character or bring her down a dark road that I don't even want to speculate. And to help her, it looks like we got Weird Al, which means that this is a celebrity episode. So far, I've reviewed 2 celebrity episodes, Lisa Goes Gaga and Atlanta Square Pandas, and I think it's important to bring them up because they detail the general 2 ways that a celebrity episode could fail. In the former, the episode was just saying that they could get a celebrity, and they only got the celebrity because they were a celebrity, and it comes off as masturbatory. In the latter, there was no point to having a celebrity at all, and clearly just used for a marketing ploy. Let's see if this cartoon can teach shows how to do it correctly. The episode starts with a pony named Cheese Sandwich looking at a party that apparently he started, when he gets something called his cheese sense, which tells him to go to Ponyville. Then we cut to our first song of the episode. Yeah, it's another musical episode, and I'm not going to completely ignore them like I did in my Magical Mystery Cure review, because this episode isn't as deep or complex. Just note that the sound of the songs don't factor into my review. I am purely critiquing the story, but about my thoughts on the song itself. I like it. I like how it's reminiscent of other popular crowd songs like Little Town from Beauty and the Beast. As for what it tells us, nothing more than the fact that Pinkie is throwing a party, really. And that party is for Rainbow Dash. All of a sudden, Cheese Sandwich appears, and he appears to be a party planner too.
I'll tell you what, making this party epic! It's also the anniversary of when I moved to Ponyville.
Who moves on their birthday? No, seriously. I know it's not really a major gripe, and in the long run it doesn't really matter, but that thought was on the back of my mind the first time I watched the episode, despite, or perhaps because of how unnecessary that detail is. Seriously, who moves on their birthday? Cheese starts singing and uses the song to introduce himself. I'm going to get this out of the way right now so it doesn't become distracting. This is a Pinkie Pie episode guest starring Weird Al. It is absolutely hilarious. Speaking of Weird Al, remember those 2 extremes I mentioned earlier? Yeah, well, this episode gets it right. There are plenty of references to Weird Al's songs and his comedy, but I don't feel like it's being shoved in my face. And he is actually a pretty good actor. I see Cheese Sandwich and not really Weird Al until he starts singing, but that may be because I really know his music. Not to mention that he's an amazing foil for Pinkie. Now, one thing that does bother me is everyone getting enveloped in Cheese's party but almost completely forgets about Pinkie's. I know she tries to hide her emotions from them, but it still rubs me the wrong way. I think that they should have at least been a little more concerned, especially considering Party of One. Yeah, that's what she was like when she merely thought her parties weren't being appreciated. So, Cheese gets to work stroking Rainbow's ego, which I don't think will be a good idea in the long run. Twilight does go to check on Pinkie, but I still feel like she should have delved a little bit deeper. We begin our next song, Pinkie's Lament. It's extremely sad in a strange sort of way. I mean, these lines seem like some sort of parody.
Put away my party cannon. I deflated all my balloons.
But the song is written and sung so well that it's surprisingly moving. I also love the triumphant turns that the song takes, and Pinkie's interesting facial expressions. Pinkie sees everyone loving Cheese's party planning, and then Pinkie gets an evil expression. Must not make reference. Must not make reference. Must not make reference. It turns out that she's not planning on turning Cheese into the party confections. Instead, she's challenging him to something called a goof-off. Whoever wins this gets to headline Rainbow's party, and whoever loses doesn't. Fair enough. And apparently Rainbow Dash is the judge. So they begin, and we've got our next song. It's an interesting one, but more for the visuals than the actual music.
Bubbles and balloons, bubbles and balloons. What's a birthday party with the bubbles and balloons? Only Pinkie Pie can make a bubble shape like you.
Yeah, I have no reason to be paranoid by Pinkie's character devolving. Oh, and yes, her character is handled very, very well in this episode, to the point where we're sympathizing with her even though she's in the wrong. No, I'm not giving points for that. I don't give points for the writers doing the things that they're supposed to do. Ah! Live action! Get it off screen!
It fills my heart with sunshine all the while, yes it does. Cause all I really need is a smile from these happy friends of mine.
Now that is a clever reference. The song eventually ends with the Rainbow Dash getting crushed by a giant cake-shaped piñata. Pinkie's eyes go rainbow, and when she realizes that Rainbow isn't having the best party ever, she forfeits the goof-off. Pinkie is about to move away, and her friends come to stop her, saying that no pony would ever take Pinkie's place. It turns out that Cheese Sandwich didn't want to replace Pinkie, he wanted to impress her, as we learned during his backstory song. He came across an amazing party that taught him he wanted to spread joy everywhere, and that party was thrown by none other than Pinkie Pie. Wow, that's a really sweet moment. So the 2 of them throw Rainbow Dash's birthday party.
Alright every pony, we are here to celebrate the birthday
And anniversary
of Rainbow Dash!
Seriously, who moves during their birthday? You know, unless she got kicked out of her house on her 18th birthday or something like that. And then we have a song that sounds suspiciously like This Is Our Big Night from Equestria Girls. Cheese Sandwich gives Pinkie his rubber chicken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure by now that these are the keys, which gives us another question. How are a spool of thread, a flag, and a rubber chicken supposed to open a box? Oh, it all makes sense now.
sandwich!
A lot of people know I've taken issue with this reference, and a lot of people have taken issue with me taking issue with this reference. Let's go through this again. The ideal reference joke is invisible to someone who doesn't get the joke. Now let's pretend I don't know what Pinkie was referencing. Pinkie Pie had just forgotten someone's name, who had sung a song about his name, and nearly drove her out of town. Now let's pretend I do know what it's referencing. Nothing I said about the previous statement has changed. It's a really bad reference joke. But that's pretty much the only bad thing about this episode. It was fucking awesome.